Hello, good morning class. So this is again teacher Bam and I will discuss to you about uh, institutionalism. So once again, nandito tayo sa subject na ito na discipline and ideas in the social sciences. And uulitin ko, we are going to talk about some basic concepts and principles of the major social science ideas na andito na tayo ngayon sa institutionalism. So remember last time, the previous topic we had discussed ay about rational choice theory, and we also talked about symbolic interactionism, and pinag-usapan din natin yung tungkol sa psychoanalysis. So this time we are going to talk about institutionalism. But before that, allow me to present to you the most essential learning competency, which is analyze the basic concepts and principles of major social science ideas, particularly sa institutionalism. And the following objectives are: explain the institutionalism, identify the key concepts and theorists on institutionalism, express the importance of the different types of institutionalism. So, yun ang tatlong objectives na nais kong matutunan ninyo or mag-manifest sa inyo after this discussion. Okay? So, let's start. So when we say institutionalism, institutions are pattern, norms, rules, and schemes that govern and direct social thought and action. Okay? So institutionalism, therefore, is an approach that aims to understand and analyze how actions, thoughts, and meanings penetrate the social consciousness deeply enough to embed themselves into social psyche. So, in other words, anything, ang layunin ng institutionalism is maunawaan yung mga bagay-bagay na maaring makaapekto sa pamumuhay ng tao or sa ginagawa o kinikilos ng tao. Okay? So, we also have the isomorphism, which is, it refers to the similarity in form, the shape, or structure. Okay? So, here's the following concepts in institutionalism. We have formal institutions. When I say formal institutions, these are codified rules, the policies and norms that are considered official, originating from state laws, government, or organizations. So, ibig sabihin, when we say formal institutions, lahat ng mga rules, lahat ng mga policy na hindi lang to dahil napag-usapan ninyo. You do this dahil napag-usapan ninyo. No. When I say formal institutions, policy na naka-align or some policies, rules na naka-align sa ating batas. Okay? So, examples of these, like the Constitution. You know naman siguro what Constitution is, like the 1987 Constitutions of the Philippines. Mga official laws, the regulations, the standards enforced by the state. So, lahat ng mga ito ay naka-angkla or naka-align sa ating batas. Okay? Sa ating konstitusyon. We also have the informal institutions. Take note, we have formal and informal. So, when we say informal institutions, these are equally known rules and norms but are not commonly written down. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, siguro mga rules, regulations, or policies na hindi naman talaga nakatakda. Siguro pinag-usapan lang na napagkasunduan nyo lang na ito ang magiging policy ninyo, ito yung magiging batas ninyo. Okay? So, examples of these like informal institutions, mga social norms, attitudes, traditions, or mga self-enforced morals. So, ito talaga yung sinasabi ko kanina, self-enforced morals. Yung mga napag-usapan nyo lang, nag-agree lang kayo na dapat sundin because you think it is valid or you think it is good. Oo. So, yun. Now, let's move on to the some important theories on institutionalism. Una dito ay si David Mitrany. So, remember, David was a Romanian-born British scholar, historian, and political theorist. He is considered as the father of functionalism in an international relations, which is classified under liberal institutionalism. So, when we say functionalism, this is an applied to the study of states, purposes, an alternative to territorialism, which is the foundation from which states derive their power of authority from territory. Okay? So, functionalism explains that a state's authority lies in function and needs and the ability to provide those needs. So, kung ang institution ay nagfa-function para tugunan ang pangangailangan ng kanyang nasasakupan, then that is functionalism. Okay? So, another theorist is John Monnet. Okay? So, he was a French political economist and a diplomat. He is one of the originators of the European Union. He saw how the needs of the state are to be achieved through the principles of supranationality. So, kanina, Mitrany argued against territory being the source of authority. Si Monnet naman, he used the argument to erase country border lines. Okay? So, remember kanina si Mitrany, so sinasabi niya, to enforce the law, there should be a territory. So, if you are within the territory, anyone can implement the law within the territory. Pero si Monnet naman iba, erase the border lines. Okay? Erase the border lines. Dapat walang territory, walang mga territory na yan. You can implement anywhere that laws is. Okay? Or that laws are. So, Stephen Krasner, he is an American professor of international relations. He argues that the American government and non-government organizations should prioritize the stabilization of weakened states so that American interest would be protected. Oo. Kumbaga, tulungan itong mga weak states para para lahat protektado. So, in order to address the continued deterioration of weaker states, Krasner suggested the creation of institutions that will allow the weaker states to enter a market democracy. Oo. Parang parang globalization. So, yon, sila lamang yung yung tatlong proponents or theorists on institutionalism. Remember, sino-sino yon? Naalala nyo si Krasner, naalala nyo si Monnet, naalala nyo si Mitrany. Okay, so sila yon. So, what are the types of institutionalism? Let's start with number 1. We have the normative institutionalism. When we say normative institutionalism, it is a sociological interpretation of institutions and holds that a logic of appropriateness guides the behavior of actors within an institution. It predicts that the norm and formal rules of institutions will shape the actions of those acting within them. Oo. Siyempre, kung mayroon tayong mga laws, mga policies, Of course, those rules and regulations and policies will guide the behavior of the people within the territory. Okay? Number 2 naman, we have the rational choice institutionalism. Remember, we have talked about rational choice. Siguro naman may idea na kayo dito. When we say rational choice institutionalism, this is a theoretical approach to the study of institutions, arguing the actors that use institutions to maximize their utility. However, actors face rule-based constraints which influence their behavior. Okay? So, number 3 naman, historical institutionalism. This is, among the 3, this is the newest. So, it is a new institutionalism, social science approach that emphasizes how timing, sequences, and path dependence affect the institution and shape social, political, economic behavior and change. Okay? So, pang-apat naman is the sociological institutionalism. This is a form of the new institutionalism that concerns the way in which institutions create meaning for individuals. Okay? Providing important theoretical building blocks for normative institutionalism within political science. Okay? So, institutions that create the meaning for individuals. Okay? Yun ang tatandaan. Then next is the institutional economics. It focuses on understanding the role of the evolutionary process and the role of institutions in shaping economic behavior. Okay? So take note of that. The role of institutions in shaping the economy or the economic behavior of the people. Okay? And number 6, the discursive institutionalism. Discursive is an umbrella concept for approaches that concerns themselves with the substantive content of ideas and the interactive processes of discourse in institutional context. So, discourse, okay? Pakikipagtalastasan. And number 7, the constructivist. According to multiple theorists, this is so whether the field in question is directly denoted as or must do more with bringing constructivist ideas into some other field, or with bringing ideas back into the theory in contrast against structuralist or the system. So, constructivist, okay? And the feminist, from the word feminine, okay? This is a new institutionalist approach that looks at how gender norms operate within institutions and how institutional processes construct and maintain gender power dynamic. So, ito yung institution that allows gender norms to operate. Regardless kung ano man ang gender preference mo. Okay? So, yun lang ang ating mga types of institutionalism. So, there are 8 types. Okay? Remember, we have normative, we have rational choice, we also have historical, we also have sociological institutionalism, we have institutional economics, and we have discursive, and lastly, we have there are 8 pala. Lastly, there is constructivist, and last is the feminist institutionalism. Okay? So, once again, para sa mga estudyante ko, meron akong quiz na ibibigay sa inyo sa ating Google Classroom. Please do not forget to check every day your Google Class para hindi nyo ma-miss yung ating mga quizzes. Okay? So, reminder din sa aking mga estudyante, huwag din kalimutan na mayroon kayong maiwan na mga learning activity sheet doon sa Google Class dapat magawa nyo na yun as soon as possible. Okay? So, by the way, thank you so much sa mga nakinig or manonood ng aking mga videos. So, para sa mga hindi ko estudyante, you are free to add more informations about this discussion. So, I am glad to read those comments and suggestions dyan sa ating comment section. So, once again, thank you so much sa panonood at pakikinig. God bless everyone. See you next time.